fair. Dennis Rodman in the paint with the blonde hair. I stay on the grass like a lawn chair. Ain't got it counted cause you know it's hard there. I'm the Brian on the mic till you paw pierce. Let my nuts hang on them just like dog ears.
Yo, what's going on, everybody? You know who this is. One half of After Hours Live from the Man Cave. Your host, Tay Wiz, man. Unfortunately, my co-host, Mark Sr., is still on vacation out with their family, having fun out there, being safe. Hey, first and foremost, I did watch the other four games the day before, and I did watch the other four that came on last night. So I'm going to start with the games from the day before. The Brooklyn Nets taking on the Toronto Raptors. The Brooklyn Nets just need those two guys to come back, Kyrie and Kevin Durant, and of course, DeAndre Jordan and Spencer Dinwiddie. Can't forget about those guys. Hey, Karis LeVert is a gem. 16 points, 7 rebounds, 11 assists. The reason I say he's a gem, he found his niche in the league playing behind him and Joe Harris, especially. And Joe Harris had an awesome game too, 14 points and 14 rebounds. Still not enough to get them guys to W. Like I said, what they're missing is a Kyrie and a Kevin Durant. Those two guys we just named, those two superstars, give them 20 plus a night. So if these guys can keep up this same momentum going into next season with this same type of play, the Brooklyn Nets will be a dangerous team. This team will be the team in the East that dethrone the Milwaukee Bucks and the other teams, as well as the Boston Celtics. I mean, Jared Allen, who played very well too, with 14 points and 15 boards. Timothy Luau Caribou with 17 points. But Garrett Temple was 21 points. This team played tough. They know they're going up against the defending champions, but it's hard to be the defending champion because, like I said before in other segments, they know what it takes to get over the hump. The Toronto Raptors been that team that couldn't get over the hump for a while. Once you figure things out and start adding other ingredients to that oatmeal to make it give it another little flavor, and that's what the Toronto Raptors are doing. As a team, as a collective unit. Like I said, for certain guys need to step up, which they did. I said Norman Powell need to be that guy that can step up for them. He would definitely give them that much needed punch in the score. So you're looking at a player like a Norman Powell giving you 24 points and 6 rebounds and sticking to the script and doing what you got to do it later out there on the floor. It's going to be hard to beat a team like the Toronto Raptors. And first and foremost, then, like I said, OG Obanobie, he has 6 points, but the thing that stuck out to me with his 6 points was he still had 2 blocks, 2 steals, and 5 rebounds. So he's out there defending to putting pressure on the offensive team to score and do a little bit more on the offensive end. Like I said, one thing about a Brooklyn Nets team, they don't have that consistent superstar they can rely on. It takes some of the pressure off them. But the one thing I will say about this young core of the Brooklyn Nets, getting their feet wet, playing big minutes in the playoff game to give them some playoff, the word I'm searching for them, just find a different edge out there playing in the playoffs that put playoff chemistry under their belts. When that time come to play with a Kevin Durant and a Kyrie Irving and DeAndre Jordan, they would know their role, how to play through the game, through the ups and the downs. And right now, this is the down part for the Brooklyn Nets because I said they're missing about four other pieces. I believe if they'd have had them 4 other pieces, this series would be 2-0 the other way around. But looking at a team like the Raptors with Fred VanVleet, who actually hit like 8 threes the other night, to come up big again, to hit 24 points to go along with 10 assists. See, those are the guys that are stepping up for the Toronto Raptors and taking them over the edge. Spicy P, 19 points, 6 rebounds. Kyle Lowry with 21 points and 9 rebounds. The one thing I like about Kyle Lowry's game, it's not flashy. It's straight grit and grind. And I love when you see a point guard get like 8 to 9 rebounds. He's letting you know out there on the floor he could do more than score and pass the ball. But to get 9 rebounds, you play in the NBA, these guys are trees. You grabbing rebounds over guys at 6'6" and over. So just to get 9 rebounds, that's kudos to you that he's willing to lead his team to a victory. Marc Gasol, he had no points, but he had 4 rebounds. He was 0 for 2. He only took 2 shots. The Raptors ball club got to find other ways to get Marc Gasol involved into the game. I just feel like he's more a valuable piece for them, just like Serge Ibaka. Serge Ibaka get started early. Get Marcus Gasol, get him a couple of touches early in the paint so we can feel his way. Because 0 points is unacceptable. But it's the crazy thing about it that they still won this game with him not scoring at all. But he did grab 4 rebounds. So the keys in this game for the Brooklyn Nets, if they want to win this game, they have to jump on Toronto early. But the crazy thing is Toronto is so long, and them guys, their whole unit play defense, first and foremost. Very underrated defensive ball club. Nick Nurse got that team going right now. Like I said, haven't missed a beat since Danny Green and Kawhi Leonard left. So like I said, the Raptors won that game 104-99. Moving right along. The Philadelphia 76ers and the Boston Celtics in that series. Man. This team, the 76ers, are Jekyll and Hyde. One day they good, next day they bad. One day they good, next day they bad. When you look at a team like the Philadelphia 76ers, you got a dominant big man in Joel Embiid. You're missing one of your key defenders and Ben Simmons, so that hurts right there. But you got another guy named Tobias Harris, other 76ers, who got the big old contract. I said for them to win games against a team like the Boston Celtics, who's very long and athletic as well, they need to get more from Tobias Harris. Tobias Harris is not getting you anything of that nature. You want him to be more assertive and more aggressive. He's not being aggressive. He's not taking his shots as a guy who's making $150 million north. I want him to be aggressive, attack the hole. When he plays very attackful along with Joel Embiid, the sky's the limit for this team. This team become hard to beat. You got guys like a Shake Milton with 14 points. Al Horford's not the same. Al Horford is old, folks. Al Horford haven't been Al Horford since he left Atlanta Hawks. You got Al Horford really don't even know his role out there on the floor because he's not really used to come off the bench. Al Horford got 4 points and 2 rebounds, and he's not getting the touches. Al Horford is more assertive when he gets his touches at the top of the key, playing in the post. He's not going to get that because you got Joel Embiid down there taking a lot of shots. Then this Philadelphia 76ers team is not built for Al Horford. This team is a more run down the court, a three-point shooting team who don't hit threes consistently. So you're not getting nothing from their bench. When I seen the 76ers, everybody was saying, me and Marcus was going through the regular season doing the pod, and people was like, as I'm talking to some of my friends and coworkers at work, what you think the 76ers is going to do, Dante? I said, man, not a damn thing. Because Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid, for some reason, the chemistry they have on the floor to me don't click. Because Ben want to score without shooting jumpers. Joel Embiid want the ball in the paint. It's something about their chemistry. It's very weird. We already know the coach is getting fired at the end of the season, Brett Brown. 76ers fans, Meek Mill, Kevin Hart, I know y'all love y'all 76ers. AI, part of that franchise, and Dr. J. These guys, the 76ers, are about to get swept. They don't have enough for a young, scrappy team in the Boston Celtics. Like I said, Josh Richardson with 18 points. Was so funny because when you go up and down the stat sheet, 4 out of the 5 starters in double figures. One played very aggressive. The other guys just played very assertive. I always said that Brett Brown was a terrible hire for the 76ers. He doesn't have that voice and presence for that team. They need somebody that's up in their face, that get the job done. Maybe a Mark Jackson. We seen what Mark Jackson did when he was in Golden State, when he turned that ball club around. Maybe we could do the same thing for the 76ers or Jason Kidd. I can keep going. Or Mike Brown on the coaching staff with the Warriors. They need somebody who understands the game. Not saying Brett Brown don't understand the game, just a different voice. Somebody's more assertive. Somebody's gonna be more passive aggressive to this young core because when I watched the game with Joel Embiid, you see it in his face. We see him on the sideline, his hands in his face. Who knows? Maybe he was crying. Maybe he knows the end is near for that 76ers team to being good. They missing something else. Like I said, what hurt them? No JJ Redick. Like I said, you don't have a consistent knockdown three-point shooter. That definitely hurts a team like a 76ers because Joel Embiid is an inside-out type player. So we know he can handle his own. So he looking like, what else you want me to do now? I don't have my main guy on the longer side of me. When you go to the Boston Celtics, Jaylen Brown put up 20 points, 5 rebounds. Jason Tatum is putting up 33 points, his career high in the playoff. 35, I'm sorry. Then you got Marcus Smart, who actually had 2 points as being more effective, too, on the offensive end. We know he's doing the defensive end because he had 10 points offensively. Kemba Walker is going into stride with his 22 points. Enes Kanter, who didn't score last game, actually had 10 points and 9 rebounds. Not to mention from guys like a Gary Williams, who had 9 points, a Brad Wanamaker, 7 points. And they missing another piece with Gordon Hayward, who's going to be out 10 to 14 weeks with a high ankle sprain. This team, the Boston Celtics, can be a dangerous team as well. Like I said, 2 games now where Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown has scored 20 plus points per game. So when you get your front court hitting on all cylinders, it's hard to beat a team like that. It's hard to beat a team. Then you got Brad Stevens, the coach, the mastermind over there in Boston, is putting over a good game plan for his guys, put his guys in the best situation for them to win. That's what Philadelphia 76ers need. Guys that slow the game down, use more clock, being more assertive with the ball to get their teammates involved. Philadelphia, when you look at the game, when they come on, look how they play. They don't get the team involved enough. Like I said, the Boston Celtics are probably going to walk away with this game with a sweep. And that's not going to sit too well with 76ers fans. This is one of the oldest rivalries, too, also in the NBA league. The third game we had to talk about, the Denver Nuggets and Utah Jazz. And I told you on the previous podcast, I said, look for the Utah Jazz to have a bounce-back game to tie things back up. Look at Donovan Mitchell. Can he back that 57 points up with another 30 ball or another 40-point game, in which he delivered, folks? When you look at a Donovan Mitchell who poured in with 30 points, like I said, the more and more you play this game in the playoffs, the more the game slowed down for you as well. So kudos to Donovan Mitchell. Other guys got involved as well. Like I said, Royce O'Neal haven't showed up since they got to the bubble. And I thought this playoff game, to me, when I'm watching through my eyes, I thought this was a good game, a complete game. He had 9 points, but he had 7 rebounds. I like that. And also 8 assists. Even though he couldn't score, he found other ways to be effective in the game. 8 assists is pretty much like points, folks. I don't care how you put it. Somebody had to score the ball from that pass. So that was good. Rudy Gobert got to give me more than 19 points and 7 rebounds if they want to keep winning like this. If they want to get past the Denver Nuggets. You got to have more than 7 rebounds out there. You're just 7-footer. They call you the Stifle Tower. Stifle Tower needed to grab about 15 rebounds per game. And he had 2 blocks. You know, he's a former defensive player of the year who know where they got to go. Joe Ingles, I always thought is the most underrated Utah Jazz player on the team. The lefty shooter from Australia, grit, grind, play hard every night. To me, he's one of the vocal pieces on that young team that Quinn Snyder has on his ball club. Quinn Snyder, for you guys who don't know, that is the coach of the Utah Jazz. So when I'm looking at a Joe Ingles with 18 points and 6 assists, man, he is just, I like his game. It's smooth. He don't rush. He take his time. He understand the game. And he actually, with them assists, he set his teammates up in the right position to be effective going to the basket. Joe Ingles is a nice piece for the Utah Jazz. He might be one of them old Utah Jazz players that they had back in the day, like a Brian Russell or Jeff Hornacek. He's one of those guys that understands the game and be at the right place at the right time. Very savvy guy. Now going to the Denver Nuggets, when you're looking at this score, as the Nuggets won 105 to 124. Sorry to backtrack. The Celtics did blow out the 76ers 128 to 101. Like I said, you look at this score, how the Utah Jazz became a dominant, how they beat the Denver Nuggets 124-105. They was hungry. They couldn't miss shots. They was driving to the cup more. They was being more aggressive. Normally they say the more aggressive team win basketball games too as well. The team that play better defense on that end of the floor normally, and 9 times out of 10 does win a game. And that's what the Utah Jazz did to the Denver Nuggets. Took them out their hookup. When you're looking at with Jamal Murray in game 1 had 36 points. They held him under. He was 6 for 13. He only had 14 points. Do you look at guys like a Mason Plumlee who had a good game last time? He didn't. He played 12 minutes. Only took 3 shots with no points. He had 8 rebounds. Looking at Torrey Craig, 27 minutes, guys. 27 minutes, no points. 2 rebounds, 2 assists. He only took 2 shots. So you're looking at 2 guys that played valuable minutes on the floor. They hardly take no shots. So all you're doing is just running 84 feet up and down the floor, or 94 feet down the court, just for cardio, and you don't get nothing. Like, come on. If you want to beat the Utah Jazz, and it's like they about to click on cylinders right now. It's like they catching up. And the crazy thing is, hopefully by game 3, you better hope that Mike Conley don't come back, because it's gonna be more Donovan Mitchell in a different way. And if people forget that Mike Conley is a scorer and a facilitator, and he played defense. So what these guys going to do once he come back in the midst? So if the Denver Nuggets want to be that sexy number 3 team seated in the West, you need to get more for Paul Millsap. Paul Millsap, in the first playoff game, I believe he had 2 points, if I'm not mistaken. No, he had 4. So 4 points. So Paul Millsap in that game had 5 points to go along with 2 rebounds. Ladies and gentlemen, Denver Nuggets fans out there, where's that Paul Millsap that we seen that was playing for the Hawks? Where's that Paul Millsap at? The Paul Millsap that was getting 18 points, about 9, 10 rebounds. Where is he at? We know he's due for a big game. Where is he at? I mean, he's playing out of the rhythm. He's getting the shots that he wants. He just ain't hitting. This ain't the Paul Millsap that I've seen before. They need to drop a game plan. Mike Malone, if you want a Paul Millsap to be more effective, drop a game plan. Let's get this guy going early. We know you got guys like Michael Porter Jr. starting in your rotation, giving you 28.6 rebounds. That's all good. You got to get that seasoned veteran going. You get Paul Millsap going, man, life would be so much easier for Nikola Jokic, who had 28 points and 11 rebounds and 6 assists. Those stats and all the numbers sound good. Yes, but at the end of the day, you got to get the win to go with them stats. No stats don't mean nothing when you lose. I don't care if you had a quadruple double. If you had 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, and you lose. Yeah, it looks good on TV and sports centers and all that. But when you lose, those numbers don't mean anything. But the bench too for the Denver Nuggets have to be more aggressive as well too. Both these teams, both benches not playing well. We know Jordan Clarkson came off the bench and came up huge for the Utah Jazz, 26 points. Now, if he do that again, man, the Denver Nuggets gonna be in trouble. The Denver Nuggets gonna be in trouble. So going to the next game, Nuggets and Jazz, and I'm going to take this on a limb. This series gonna go probably gonna be a game 6 or a game 7 type series. I will give me the Denver Nuggets to win the next game, probably by 10 points, because they're gonna find some way to win this game. Moving right along, the Dallas Mavericks and the Clippers. Me, game 1 watching the playoffs, I thought the Dallas Mavericks. I ain't gonna say I thought. I knew the Dallas Mavericks got Ho's job with the ejection of Kristaps Porzingis, and the referee didn't catch. Now they got the instant replay, and they still getting stuff wrong. I don't understand it. It's like a Buffalo Wild Wings commercial when the referee's out there and the players want to do extra. They doing extra stuff to get just sprinklers on and flags. You got these, as they said, they got the best. Reggie Miller said that these are some of the best officials in the world, and yet the best officials in the world still get the call wrong. Kristaps Porzingis should never been ejected. I thought Marcus Morris should got ejected. Closed fist to Porzingis' throat. A punch is automatic suspension, 2 or 3 games at least. How did they miss that? How? Please tell me, how did they miss that? Referees got it wrong. Like I said, the officiating in this bubble been kind of terrible to me. Some of the calls they call in is like, that don't make no sense at all. If we don't know, only the basketball guys would know. But I feel like if Kristaps Porzingis wasn't ejected in that first game, and they was winning too in that third quarter, I feel in my heart the Mavericks can be up 2-0. And I'm looking at this score, how they beat the Clippers lost to the Dallas Mavericks. In game number 2, Tim Hardaway Jr. is on fire. He chipped in with 17 points. Porzingis has 7 rebounds along with his 23. You had Max Kleber with 4 points. I like the 10 rebounds. Keep the Clippers off the glass. Trey Burke came up huge for them with 16 points. Boban, your reign, with 13 points, 9 rebounds. And you had Steph Curry out there with I believe 16 points as well. So you're looking at a lot of guys who chipped in, especially bench. Now, if they want to beat the Clippers, you need for those same 3 guys I just named, Curry, Boban, and Trey Burke, to have huge games like that. I didn't even mention my guy, Luka. Luka with 28 points, 8 rebounds, and 7 assists. And the crazy thing is about Luka, he's very aggressive, but I'm going to say he's too aggressive on defense, trying to get the ball, reaching in town, take the charge. He leads by example. With that, he's going to be in foul trouble every game. The Clippers had this guy with 5 fouls in the fourth quarter with like 11 minutes to go. And they was trying their best to foul him out. They was so worried about fouling him out. They forgot that they was down, but only at that time about 8 points. And they played right into his hand. Luka was going to the hole, still being very aggressive on the defensive end, still being aggressive on the offensive end, and doing things to get his team to lead this team to victory. Like I said, this young kid is a seasoned veteran. Been playing professional basketball since the age of 14 to 15 years old. He come over to the NBA. To him, this is nothing new to him. Just playing with some more of the best basketball players in the United States. I can't say in the world because we don't play the world. So some of the best basketball players in the United States, well, you got some world players sprinkled in there. I know somebody gonna say it is. We do got some of the best basketball players in the world. They don't play the whole world. If we did, they not world champions. I hate when they say, "Hey, give it up for your world champions." You're not world champions. You are United States champions. When you want to play the world, that's when you go play against the other countries, Africa and all that. You go play the African team. That's when you become world champions. Or when you play the gold medal, like my man Kobe over me with the flag over his shoulder. So R.I.P. to Kobe. That's when you become a world champion. Every 4 years, that's when you become a world champion. You're only a United States champion. I hate when people say that. They derailed me. I thought the Dallas Mavericks coach, Rick Carlisle, drew up a good game plan for his guys, and they stuck to the script. They hit the Clippers in the mouth. They did the same thing to the Clippers. How the Clippers did that to them. You want to beat a team, you jump on them early. The coach always said you punch them in the mouth. You play fast, you play hard, and that's what the Mavericks did. And Doc Rivers was giving the same speech. He's hoarse. To his teammates, stop taking hero shots. If you want to play hero ball, you can go play somewhere else. You got Montrez back in the bubble. I thought 10 points. He's an energy guy. And at some point in time, energy guys do run out of energy. That's what they call them, energy guys. Just like a battery. The battery ain't good for so long, then guess what? It runs out of energy, and you do what? Throw it away. I'm not saying the Clippers going to throw him away. And my reference is when an energy guy got so much energy, when he get tired, he goes to the bench. He got to sit down. He got to reboot himself. Lou Williams with 23 points, four rebounds, and 7 assists. Thought was huge. Reggie Jackson 11 points, 4 rebounds. Like I said, Marquise Morris with 14 points, 8 rebounds. Now Kawhi with his 10 rebounds and 35 points. You're looking at a stat line like that coming from your superstar. You're looking, all right, we got the win in the bag. We got superstar players, and we got a superstar coach, and we still find some way to win. And it's crazy, but they give Doc Rivers a lot of praise for what he does with his teams. He turns his teams around on the defensive end. But people act like Rick Carlisle didn't win a championship with a Sean Marion and Jason Kidd, a Deshaun Stevenson, a Jason Terry, and a future Hall of Famer, Dirk Nowitzki. So Rick Carlisle knows what it takes to be a championship team. So once you're a championship coach and you get that championship DNA, is how he won championships too, as well as with the Boston Celtics as a player, Rick Carlisle did. So a lot of these coaches or former coaches or players that played in big games know what it takes to get their guys ready for a game. So what Doc Rivers got to do is he got to find out what's wrong with Paul George. Paul George, 4 for 17. He had 10 rebounds and 14 points, but he didn't score his first basket till the third quarter. We know he had shoulder surgery last season. We seen him at the end of this game that they played. He had ice on his shoulder. So with the shoulder injury, is something flaring back up in the shoulder? Because when he lost that game, he went straight to the podium with ice on his shoulder. And my homeboy Harv always say, if you see anybody ice up after he would say after an ass kicking, they get ice on knees, wrists, or shoulder. He said that's the loser limp. So when I seen that, I said that's that loser limp. He took 17 shots, only made 4 of them. He threw ice on his shoulder, drinking Gatorade, which he is sponsored by. And all of a sudden, he got a shoulder problem. How about, I always say this, the 15-footer in the NBA is a lost art. Everybody want to take these threes. It's like we watching NBA Jam, threes and dunks. Don't nobody want to shoot the 15-footer. The 15-footer is more lethal than anything. Don't nobody want to take the 15-footer. Man, Michael Jordan, Reggie Miller, Mark Price, these guys are masters of the 15-foot jumper. Even Carmelo Anthony, we're going to speak about him later. I mean, Paul George, man, you got to do something, man. And y'all don't have no Pat Bev out there, too, so you're losing some of your defensive edge. He's out with a quad injury. We don't know how long he's going to be back. Maybe he'll be back for a game 3. Who knows? But you need another defensive anchor guy out there because Paul George right now, like I said, in the playoffs, he never show up for the playoffs. And when he does show up, it's always like game 4s and game 5s, pretty much when the series is already out of hand. So Paul George got to find other ways to get himself inserted to the game. If he having shoulder problems now, if that's on his shooting arm, man, the Clippers could be in trouble because this Dallas Mavericks team is a dangerous 7-seeded team. And I won't be surprised if the Mavericks win this series. But who knows? It's still early. The Clippers is still the sexy pick out there in that series. So, like I said, Luka played very well. Being very assertive on the offensive end. I thought Tim Hardaway played lights out. I'm talking about the Dallas Mavericks. I thought Tim Hardaway Jr. played lights out for those guys to find other ways to score. Like I said, Boban, if they use him a little bit more to put him in the paint, have no team really figured him out how they're going to play him defensive-wise because He's right there. He played arms and head above rim. He get too deep, it's a wrap. You gotta follow him. They don't want to put him on the free throw line. He can shoot free throws, and he got a post game. You see what Shaq was calling him? You rain, you rain. Moving right along. I'm saying we catching up. The games that was on yesterday, the Miami Heat and the Indiana Pacers. Jimmy Butler, them 2 3 points he hit the night before, got him riled up. 18 points, 7 rebounds, 6 assists. The matchup between him and TJ Warren, to me, I think TJ Warren, to me, is playing a little shook. I thought TJ Warren could be more aggressive out there as well. When you look at the front court for the Miami Heat, with a Jimmy Butler, Jay Crowder, and Bam, when I'm looking at that, Jay Crowder, the first game wasn't too hot, but this game it was okay. It was mediocre. It was enough to get them over the hump with his 10 points, 8 rebounds. Bam, when I watch Bam play, when I'm watching him play as an athlete, and people say, oh, he's a good player. No doubt about it. That's why he's in the NBA. But the way he's playing the game, he's playing off raw talent. He's not slowing the game down to be more effective. He's just playing on the go, as we call open gym run. So when guys are very talented in open gym runs, they're going to beat you. It ain't the fact that they understand the game. It's just they're just playing with a little bit more edge and a little bit more raw talent than the next guy. Once the game slows down from Bam, he won't have a 7-point game like this probably, hopefully in a while. But he did have 5 rebounds and 4 assists. So it made the Miami Heat a difficult matchup for the Pacers. You got a young Tyler Hero. They got. Let's be honest. The Miami Heat got better offensive talent than the Pacers. They got better scorers. They play inside out. They play defense as a unit. This is how they've been winning their games, off defense. Nate McMillan, guys, for the Pacers has not hit their stride where you want them to be defensively right now in this series and offensively. You got guys for the Miami Heat like Gordon Dragic, 20 points, 6 assists, another lefty shooter who's balling. You got the Tyler Hero, the flamethrower, balling with 15 points. But the stud of the night goes to Duncan Robinson, man, with 2 last names. 7 from 8 from the 3-point line with 24 points. All his points came from 3. Tied a Heat record with Mike Miller and Damian Jones, and he's up there. So when you look at a guy like that that's in the zone, it's going to be hard to beat a team like that. And he was hitting every 3. And when he was hitting most of the threes he's hit, majority of them was wide open. So the Pacers got to be more effective on the defensive end and be more talkative. You got to talk on defense, people. These guys don't be talking enough. Then until you look at a Malcolm Brogdon with his 9 assists, 5 rebounds, 17 points, not enough. Victor Oladipo with 22 points, not enough. Like I said, TJ Warren with 14 points, 6 rebounds, not enough. TJ Warren, since him and Jimmy Butler got your little altercation a couple months or last year, you want to say, the last couple of matchups, like I said before, TJ Warren been playing very scared and timid. So when is Mr. Bubble going to show up, TJ Warren? Because Jimmy Butler want all the smoke. He's talking to him every time he get a chance when he's out on the floor. You don't see, and TJ Warren, when he get the ball, take a couple of dribbles, pass it out. It almost like Ben Simmons when Kawhi was guarding him last year in the playoffs. Kawhi didn't regard him. Ben Simmons dumped that ball off quick. That's the same thing I'm saying from TJ Warren. I need to see that Mr. Bubble TJ Warren, who's going to be more effective, who's going to be playing with more heart. He's not playing with the same heart and intensity, folks. Let's be honest. He's not. Victor Oladipo, he's playing a contract year. I won't be surprised next year the team he's facing, he will be on, the Miami Heat. If he goes to Miami Heat, wow. That's all I can say is wow. Because that team would be dangerous. Probably easy number 2 seeded team in the East. Depends what not the Boston Celtics. Depending on what the 76ers do with their team this this fall once the season is over with. Aaron Holiday with 12 points, 5 assists. Nate McMillan got to come up with a game plan to get these guys more effective. Miles Turner is not playing with no heart. Period. He's not. He's playing soft. All these big men in the league want to do is shoot threes. Go to the hole. That's how you want to get paid? Go to the hole and start dunking on cats. Play some defense. Block their balls on the backboard. These guys, the big guys want to shoot threes. Your power forward and your center want to shoot threes. And Tel's trying to figure out, we got to drop another game plan. We got to figure out how we lost. Yeah, I just told you. Stop shooting damn threes with a center who don't even shoot threes. And your power forward, play to the basket. Put the other team in foul trouble. I guess if you do that, you start winning games. It's not that hard to do. So moving right along, in the next game, I like the Heat in that game. I think the Heat's going to sweep the Indiana Pacers. We got the OKC Thunder and the Houston Rockets in this game. I thought the Houston Rockets at least not the Houston Rockets. I at least thought the OKC Thunder at least squeeze out a game. That small ball is killing the Thunder. Chris Paul title window is like this now. It's like this. Chris Paul is doing everything in his will to get his team over that hump. Look, 14.6 rebounds. Not enough from Chris Paul. You got your young guys like a Dort with 8 points. Not enough. Steven Adams, they enforce it. 11 rebounds. 8 points. Not enough. Dino Gallinari, who I thought played sensational. 17 points. 5 rebounds. Not enough. SGA, Shea Gilgeous-Alexander plays lights out and gave them that punch that they needed. 6 assists, 31 points. Not enough. Dennis Schroeder, 13 points, 5 boards, 5 assists. Not enough. So Billy Donovan got to go back to the drawing board to figure out how to, I got like a Terrence Ferguson, Andre Robertson. You got to find something. And the crazy thing is, the Rockets beat them 111-98. And James Harden had a terrible shooting night. Especially, he was 5 for 16, 2 for 11 from the three-point line. That's ugly. 21 points. And he had 9 assists. And, you know, James Harden, to me, it's almost like Damian Lillard. James Harden is an underrated, unappreciated superstar in the league. Just because a lot of people say he traveled, he abused the flop system. It's called mastering your art. Once you master your craft and when the referees adjusted to your game, sky's the limit. The team's got to find out, okay, you know he want to do this, you know he want to do that. The whole thing about defense is called discipline. You got to discipline. You got to sit down. You got to sit tight. You can't go for a James Harden head fake. You can't go for the step back because you know it's coming. He don't have a crossover. He don't have a crossover. He hit you the jab step. If he's going to jab you once, he jab you twice. If you go for that third jab step, he got you going straight to the cup. So he don't have any moves. He's just strong and athletic. So when James Harden, a game like that last night from James Harden, you looking like, man, they still won. Eric Gordon, another guy. He had 15 points with 4 assists, but this dude took 10 3-pointers and missed all of them. So the Houston Rockets, one thing I'm going to say, this team lives and dies by the threes like the Golden State Warriors. It's like any other team that shoot a lot of threes. Once they go in, team is dangerous. Once they don't go in, it's like it's a failure. It's not successful. It's not successful. This is the reason why the Rockets won, because glue guys stepped up and they starting lineup still. Robert Covington with 10 points, 3 steals is huge in the NBA playoffs. PJ Tucker, 14 points, who didn't score that much in the game one. Daniel House Jr., who played very exceptional for a guy of his stature with 9 rebounds and 19 points. Austin Rivers came off the bench and gave you 11 points with 4 rebounds and 3 assists. And Uncle Jeff, with his 7 rebounds and 15 points, you're not beating a team when those glue guys come line. About 5 glue guys for the Houston Rockets came together in this small ball lineup. It's making it very hard on somebody like a Steven Adams because you got to run down the court and chase after these guys. So pretty much the Houston Rockets are playing open gym basketball. You're not going to beat them like that because they're playing small ball and that lineup is they got one of the smallest lineups in the league. They are out rebounding the Thunder. The Thunder. They out rebounded this team. So when you out rebounding your team, the team ain't getting no extra looks. They're not getting no extra points. So they taking the points off the board. You can't get that second look for offensive rebound. They grabbing everything and come that way. And not only that, they grabbing offensive rebounds too. So they giving their team more credit and more time to shoot the basketball. So next game, I seen the look on Chris Paul's face in the post interview, looking like, man, he looking like what I have to do to beat this team. Not only this team, he played for this team last season. It's hurting him because he looking like, man, y'all traded me away. I should be on this team right with you guys winning. Because he feel like since they're in the bubble, he feel like their chances were better with him and Chris Paul and James Harden. But for some reason, they just didn't click. All right. We knew the Milwaukee Bucks would bounce back against Orlando Magics in that game. Steve Clifford has the game plan for them, but going against a former MVP and a former coach of the year, you knew that this team was going to step up and make defensive changes, offensive changes. They're going to be more aggressive than Orlando Magic, which they were. Like I said, James Ennis and Gary Clark, them guys played exceptionally well in game 1. But game 2, I think James Ennis still played well. 8 points or 10 rebounds. Vukovic with 32 points, 10 rebounds, who actually played very well again. Another 30 and 10 game. Then you had Evan Fournier with 12. But this where everything started getting a little dicey for Orlando Magic. DJ Augustine was 0 for 5 from the field. He had 10 points. All his points came from the free throw line. So just imagine you just made something. You could be talking about a different outcome of this game. You had Markelle Fultz. He was 4 for 13 with 11 points. So you got a lot of guys out there taking a lot of shots and not making anything. Like I said, you got to be more aggressive. You want to beat a team like the Milwaukee Bucks, who's trying to get to that mountaintop, who's trying to gain everybody's respect. You talk about a small team playing in a small market city as the Milwaukee Bucks. Trust me, I know all about that. I live in one. I lived in 2 different cities. Home is always be Cleveland, Ohio. That's a small market city for basketball. And look, and I live in Charlotte. Got this shirt on, representing another small market. So it's hard to keep superstar guys in small market cities. And number one thing I say about small market cities when it comes to sports, the fans are way loyal. Care what nobody say. Loyal fans in small markets, they love their teams. And Terrence Ross with 12 points. I mean, there's nothing you could have did with the Milwaukee Bucks. Orlando took the shots that they wanted. They wasn't falling. A lot of misread stuff on defense. Not too many turnovers in the first half for Orlando Magic to get what they got if they want to win, to beat a team like the Milwaukee Bucks. I thought Milwaukee Bucks came out with a game plan. Like I said, Chris Middleton is not that guy to go along with Giannis. This now every year in the playoffs now, even last year, the year before that, he had some trouble scoring. And he's on the same thing. It's almost like Paul George's. That sounds pretty good. Paul George's. It's Paul George's like game. Chris Middleton was 1 for 8. 12% people, 6 assists, 5 rebounds, and 2 points. Now you talk about one of the top 10 3-point shooters, a guy who I compare him every time. I'm not gonna say his game is playing like Paul George, how they show for the playoffs. But I always compare Chris Middleton to Michael Redd. They were the same number, that 22. Kind of move like him, but he not smooth like him. You feel me? Chris Middleton has to get in the gym and put up some shots. We don't know why his shots not falling. You know, this is the playoffs. This 2 games in a row. Maybe that third game he'll find it. Brook Lopez played big because, the first game, he stunk it up. He backed that up with 20 points. Wesley Matthews ain't hitting. I don't know what's wrong. Wesley Matthews can hit anything in the regular season, but then come in this game, only scored 7 points. Eric Bledsoe, 13 points, 7 rebounds. That was an okay game, mediocre. But the guys who stepped up for it was Dante DiVincenzo, 11 points, 3 rebounds. You need that off the bench because he didn't give you that before. Then you're looking at Pat Connaughton, which they definitely needed that. 11 rebounds and 15 points off the bench. You need that from your glue guys if you want to win. You need that. Glue guys been stepping up in the last couple of games. People don't understand the game plans against these teams in the playoffs. They gotta stick. The plan is pretty much to stop the superstar. If you got a dominant bench player, they got a game plan for him. But the other guys they ain't got game plans for. These are the guys who need to step up all the time, who don't have a game plan for them. Like, all right, they got no game plan for me. They got no game plan for no Pat Connaughton to come off the bench. Period. We know who the game plan for. Giannis. Keep him from coming to the cup. Eric Bledsoe, don't let him come to the cup. Another would be third. Keep the Lopez Rose off the glass. And the fourth, keep Chris Middleton off that 3-point line. And which Orlando Magic has been doing very effectively, keep him off the 3-point line. But when you got somebody like Giannis Antetokounmpo getting you 28 points and 20 rebounds, going to the hole, dunking on cats at will, doing what you want to do, you're not going to beat a team like that. Next game, you can give me the Bucks. Last but not least, the Portland Trailblazers. Damian Lillard, Logo Lillard, CJ Fracture back, McCollum, Carmelo, Stay Mellow Anthony, Yusuf Nurkic. Let's get to this Terry Scott's Portland Trailblazers ball club. First and foremost, Hassan Whiteside needs to be in the starting lineup. He's more effective in the game than Nurkic. Period. Rebound, block shots. Only thing Nurkic has yet blocked a player's shot in this playoffs. Hassan Whiteside had 5 last game. I think he had 2 this past game. He blocked LeBron James again. They make it difficult. He makes it more difficult for people to score him because he's a better rim protector than Nurkic. He's more physical than Nurkic. He's stronger than Nurkic. He's more durable than Nurkic. I don't know what they see. If I was Portland, I would do something a little different. I would throw Nurkic in at the 4, Whiteside at the 5, Melo to 3. Of course, you stay with your hitters, Damian, CJ to 1 and the 2. You got to switch some up because the Lakers have found something. Carmelo Anthony didn't give you nothing yesterday. C shot 16% from the field. He took 6 shots, only made 1 with 2 points. That's not a Carmelo Anthony type game. Period. They threw Wayman Gabriel in because he made Anthony Davis in game 1 when he was guarding 1 for 10. They threw him in the game. They thought they found something. Not mad at that. But to throw the young guy in before you throw a Whiteside in, it's kind of wrong. And not only that, Wayman Gabriel, he had 7 points to go along with 5 rebounds. Nurkic played big minutes on 9 points, 8 rebounds. Not getting that. Not getting that. And he was falling a lot. CJ McCollum, he was 6 for 16 with 13 points, 5 rebounds. Damian Lillard with 18 points. He was 6 for 14 until he had a dislocated index finger. That happened in the third quarter. When the team was down 85 to 55, they was already down by 30. Watching that game last night, I thought the Portland Trailblazers took too many 3-pointers. Damian Lillard took a lot of deep 3-pointers. He didn't have to take all those 3 balls like that. He did. Damian Lillard is more effective too when he started driving to the cup. because now you talk about guys, the big man got adjusted with him coming down the lane. You know, big men don't want to foul. 9 times out of 10, most big men, when they block you, they reach over the body anyway. When they do reach over the body, they're going to connect with some of your head. So I thought the Portland Trailblazers got away from that type of game plan, how they're supposed to be playing out there in the court. The Lakers, LeBron James played awful. 4'11". He's not using all his energy. I thought with him, with his 10 points, 6 rebounds, and 7 assists, he could have did a little bit more. They showed him working out. Oh, you know, he got one of the best trainers in the world. You know, he watches food. And I'm going to tell you one thing about training that trainer can't beat. LeBron is my favorite player. Let's be honest. A trainer ain't beating Father Time. Me, LeBron James lost about 2 steps in his speed. He don't get up high enough no more. LeBron be 36 years old on December 30th. LeBron don't look like he fast no more. Only thing he can do is play bully basketball. A lot of cats is hip now. You can bully me, but take this jumper. You're not an effective shooter. So when you can't shoot the ball, what's next, LeBron? This is coming from a LeBron James fan. I'm not going to be like everybody on TV, oh, the King James this. I seen the King James at his highest peak. Right now, Father Time is catching LeBron James. So what you going to do if he can't score? We know what happens if he can't score 10 points. If what happens if he put up this same production again? They win? No, they're going to lose. But he's lucky that Anthony Davis stepped up, scoring 30 points in 29 minutes. The last person to do that in the Lakers jersey was Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I think he did that, 6 times? So you're looking at that type of stats. Anthony Davis with 31 points, 11 rebounds. Like I said, get your big man involved fast and early. Once they get involved fast and early, they're going to play more defense. They're going to run down the court. They're going to do the extra things. When you don't get them involved, they're not going to do it. They're going to go through the motions of the game. Like, oh, yeah, I might get my touches. Some players don't care about championship rings. Some players just care about getting a big contract. They don't care about rings. As long as they say they played in the NBA and they worth about, at the end of their career, about $400-something million, they fine with that. They fine with that. But you got to get somebody like Anthony Davis involved. I thought he hurt his back yesterday. And I thought, I'm like, here we go again. Anthony Davis always hurt. He's fragile, a.k.a. fragile. So when you're looking at a person like Anthony Davis, when you got him inserted more, you see when you have him score early. Talk a little trash to people. You do a little of this, do a little of that. JaVale McGee, I thought, played a solid game with his 8 rebounds, 10 points. The big man was going early. Danny Green, on your back of your jersey, say how many more? I'm trying to figure out how many more shots you gonna miss. 1 for 6? And you hit a 3-pointer? And you got the nerves to have a tattoo on your elbow with a target. Basically saying you don't miss. You're not hitting nothing into that in that orange cylinder. Period. Frank Vogel looked lost as a Lakers coach. He's looking like he never coached these type of superstars at the magnitude. You get what I'm saying? KCP, who was 0 for 9, stepped up big with 16 points. I think he hit his first 3 shots when the game came on. Last night. He couldn't miss. J.R. Smith gave you 11 points off the bench. Kyle Kuzma got to give me more than 7. Even though they won in emphatic fashion. Kyle Kuzma is the X factor for that Lakers club. You know what LeBron, you know what AD going to do. But you need Kyle Kuzma to be that third guy. Kyle Kuzma should be scoring 15 to 7 points every night in this bubble in the playoffs. Once you do that, the Lakers will cruise to a lot of wins and the game will open up for everybody else. So now the game plan you got to stop AD and LeBron. Now if you got Kyle Kuzma coming up, they got to drop a game plan for him. So you got to keep being more aggressive, Kyle Kuzma. Stop settling for all these 3-pointers. I think you're most aggressive when you drive into the cup. That's just me, period. And you put your back towards the basket. Once you get in that free throw line, and sky's the limit, big fella. You gotta score it. Like I said, Damian Lillard, with that injury he had, by him being a person that drives to the hole and who uses his left hand a lot too as a driver of the point guard, how will this affect his game going forward as a ball handler? We know with a dislocated finger, it's going to be sore for a couple of days. If somebody just touch it or bump it wrong, we know you got to tape it up. Still not going to be the same. It's going to take some stuff. It's going to take some velocity off his shot when he shoot the basketball. So in that next game, I like the Lakers in that game too as well, big. Then first and foremost, we got through all those games that I missed. The NBA draft lottery was yesterday. Coming in number 10 is the Phoenix Suns. Number 9 was the Washington Wizards for people who missed out there. Number 8 was the New York Knicks. Number 7 was the Detroit Pistons. Number 6 was the Atlanta Hawks. Number 5 was the Cleveland Cavaliers. Number 4 was the Chicago Bulls. Number 3 was the Charlotte Hornets. 2 was the Golden State Warriors. And number 1 was the Timberwolves. With this NBA draft, is so crazy. It's the most unknown draft it is. It probably got about 2 or 3 good guys in this draft. With a James Wiseman, a LaMelo Ball, Obi Toppin, the young guy out of Georgia, Edwards. So you're looking at who's who. This draft reminds me of the draft where Anthony Bennett was number 1 overall pick to the Cleveland Cavaliers. That was back in 2000 and I want to say 14, 15 season. So when you looking at something like that as a draft, you're looking at what we need as a team. Who are they going to select? Who are they going to draft? This is the most unknown draft. Like I said, due to college basketball just stopping right before they get to March Madness, right before they get to tournament play. It was very weird because it's other guys out there that we don't know about. You know, the tournament games is where some guys get known. So you're looking at that guy who didn't really do nothing, who probably was on the cusp of being one of those guys to make a team, doesn't know where he's going to be at. Now, so the guy that's on that cusp probably going to play basketball overseas or join the G League. So it's different things. This draft is going to be very weird what's going on next inside the NBA. And the NBA right now, they said the earliest they have games, they said the season will start December 1st, which is weird. 2, you got NBA 2K coming out on the 4th or the 5th. That's a Friday. So you better have a game come out before an NBA draft. You got to find another location for a season for NBA players to have a bubble season again. So the NBA working on a location for that. So we're going to see how everything is up and played around the NBA in the coming weeks. And hey, like I said, I'm going to wrap this up. Y'all know who this is. It's Tay Wiggs coming live and direct from the Man Cave. It's After Hours Live from the Man Cave. Y'all know who it is. Tay Wiggs. I'm out of here. Peace.